Okay, welcome back. Today's discussion is on test-taking skills, and it's probably the most, or one of the most important skills to have outside of learning the code book is to know how to take tests and what skills you need to develop to take tests. Well, being prepared, attitude is everything in taking this exam. And to improve your attitude, what you want to be is confident. And to become confident, you must be well prepared. And you become well prepared by practicing. So it all comes down to really practice, practice, practice. It will give you the confidence that you need to take the test, and it will vastly improve your attitude, and you'll take that test with a confident and well-prepared attitude. You also want to take care of yourself physically the day of the test by eating properly. Have a good breakfast or a good lunch, depending on the time that you take the test. Make sure that you have drink. They allow water in the testing area. And make sure you get plenty of sleep before. Make sure also that you're aware of your body's natural break schedules. So make sure that you allot for that. If you take a lot of breaks, then you should probably be drinking less so that you won't be interrupted during the test. So take care of yourself is very important physically as well. Also, before you go to the test center is to map it. Make sure you know where it's at. Drive to it if you need to. And that way you're prepared, you're acquainted with the parking situation, you're acquainted with whether they have any construction going on at the time, and you don't want to leave anything to chance. So make sure you know where it's at, and you can drive there and arrive prepared and relaxed before you take the test. Nothing should get in the way of your attitude on that day. So protect your attitude. All you'll need to take with you is a picture ID and perhaps a secondary ID. But they will provide you the code book, a new code book. You don't need yours. They will provide a calculator, paper clips to mark familiar tables and articles in your code book, and pencils. So basically all you need to bring is your picture ID and possibly a second ID. Once you get at the test center, get settled. You can use paper clips to identify and to mark, to hold the place of key articles, tables. The annex sometimes is a very difficult section to find, and the index. Get familiar with the computer and the navigation. It's a very, very simple process, and they will allow you time to get acquainted with the navigation by giving you simple questions, and you could go through those simple and brief questions and learn how to navigate, mark the questions or skip them and come back to them. So make sure that you're well acquainted with the navigation of the system. It's very simple. Don't stress out on that because it's simple and very intuitive to understand. Well, when you're preparing for a test, what you want to do is make at least 3 passes answering or reading all the questions first. So basically you're going to read all the questions 3 times. The first pass you're going to answer the easy ones. These are questions that are general knowledge type questions, the questions that will not be in the code book, and the questions you could answer through your experience and your knowledge of the field. These questions also may include familiar articles and tables and information that's in the code book. So that's your first pass. The second pass, you want to do the calculations. What I mean by that are do the simple ampacity questions and the box fill or conduit types of questions, Ohm's law or power law questions. Those are questions that might require just a simple calculation, a simple multiplication, and or a simple table lookup, and you could be done with it. So that's on your second pass. The third pass is you want to start beginning to answer questions that you need to look up in the index. So now you're familiar with the questions. This is your third time reading the same question. And it's really going to be key to practice this strategy during your homework times and during your practice testing times in class or at home to practice this three-step strategy. And once you're on the third pass, you now begin to employ lookup strategies. And as you will recall, remember these strategies. There are several of them. You could read the question and answers carefully. Get physical with the questions by reading them out loud or with your lips. Use your fingers to keep your pace. Identify the main topics and subtopics from the questions. Look for synonyms. Look for literal words. Look up the literal words of the question. Reverse the word order. Search for clues in the answers. Don't forget to use the table of contents. You may draw on your experience. And if all else fails, you have to use the process of elimination. Look for answers that you could easily eliminate. And then finally, if all else fails, you have to use the game method, and that is to guess, answer, mark, and examine the next question and move on. Remember to stay emotionally detached from the questions. It's very easy to be distracted from rabbit trails. Rabbit trails are those code sections that refer you to another code section, and then that code section refers you to another code section. Before you know it, you've used up a lot of time. Watch also for black holes. Those are cases when you're just so determined to answer that question, you won't move on from that question until you answer it or until you find the answer. Those kinds of questions just suck you in and kill all the time that you have available for that question as well as for several others. So be aware and try to avoid rabbit trails and black holes. Also, you want to answer all the questions. You won't get credit for unanswered questions. So make sure that all the questions, even if you have to guess, are answered. Finally, the key to passing this exam is simply to practice. Practicing is the key, it's the secret, and it's the truth that you'll need to have faith in and to be able to pass this test. So good luck to you, and practice, practice, practice.